Hello, and welcome back to the channel. Now, you're probably sick of the reviews, and I'm sick of sitting indoors, so let's get out and do a bit of exploring in Kilkenny. Today we're going to visit 3 sites, all historical, and it should be a grand old time. Now, let me just get my glove there, and come away and wander on the road with me. Now, isn't it great we finally got somewhat stable weather for a change? It's been a mixture of sunny and stormy for the last few weeks, so haven't gotten really out on the bullet. Besides, really, whenever you've seen me on the bullet on the channel, those have been the only times I've been out. So I'm delighted to get it back out on Daisy now. And her new clock is going well, you can see it there, ticking away, 326 kilometres. Now, it is threatening to rain today, but you know what, we're out and about already, we'll get on with it. Our first 2 sites are in the northwest part of Kilkenny, and the first one will be Ballylarkin Abbey. I'll tell you more about it when we're on all the roads. Now, let it be said that recently I'd cleaned Daisy top to bottom, didn't do the chromes, but got everything, all the dirt off. And immediately she's filthy again. This is the nature of Irish roads, I'm afraid. A lot of fun, a lot of dirt. You got to be careful if you're wandering around these roads now. You'll come across a tractor or a combine harvester or an Audi A8 taking up the whole road. I'd have to take evasive manoeuvres. Easy on the bullet, not so easy in a car. Alright, now we're approaching it. It's in a field up here on the left. And I just realised that said field might be a bit mucky, so... Ah, no, she's nice and full of grass. Last time I was here, pre-YouTube days, but post getting the bullet days, drove up here. Very muddy field, it had just recently been ploughed. This is Ballylarkin Church. Now, where would you park? I suppose you'd park in that little bit and hope that Farmer John doesn't need to use the field. Or maybe up there on the verge. The problem with a lot of these historical spots in the countryside is that they don't have great parking by nature of being out in the middle of nowhere. The fortunate part about being on a bike is that you're small. You know yourself, you don't need me preaching at you. Let's go take a look. Tis an awfully peaceful day here out in Ballylarkin. Bally meaning town, and Larkin probably anglicisation of the surname Lorcan. So this area was originally owned by the O'Lorcan family until they were ousted by the Anglo-Normans known as the Shorthalls, who took over all this area. In the 1350s, they built Ballylarkin Church. And there's also a nice proper gate into the property down here. So I didn't have to exactly trod through all that mud. The more you know. Even though in local tradition it was known as Ballylarkin Abbey, it was actually a small parish church. Again, February, probably not the best time to be doing this as the ground is still a bit muddy, but we do what we can. Here on the north side we find the entrance, which is rather small. Apparently this site was built up to prevent against attack, such as including a chemin de ronde around it, which chemin de fer means railway, so chemin de ronde means roundway or round path. Somewhere up there. Let's go in and find it. These 3 archways here are what's known as a sedia, or a seat, and this is where the priest would have sat during Mass. Next to it we have getting used to looking at my reflection. We have a piscina, which, if you know what a piscine is, it's not what you're thinking in English. It's a pool in French. It's simply where you'd have your holy water. The church has some lovely examples of Gothic cut architecture, such as this large arched window. And also this dinky one over here. These stones you see coming out of the top on the south and north facing entrances are what are known as corbel stones, and they just support a heavier weight above them. I don't know, it's architecture, it's design. Below that we find some posts, so there might have been a walkway there to get up to the, as we said before, chemin de ronde. Correct me on that pronunciation. Now this little cabinet here beside the piscina is what's known as an ambry, which is, well, I just said it, it's a cabinet, but it would have been for storing sacred vestments and vessels and that kind of thing. Now on the north side of this window, I found this little placard with some writing on it. Can you read what it says? It nearly looks like a trademark symbol, which I don't think they would have had in the 1350s. Couldn't find anything online about this. Probably will immediately when I go home and realise, oh, it was this all along, but here you go, that's a nice little feature. Now, I have a feeling that this V-shaped structure here at the door wasn't part of the original structure, but was probably added in later years when the church was no longer used to stop cattle from getting in and getting trapped. But to allow humans in, like myself and yourself, probably. Again, speaking of that chemin de ronde, which I probably mispronounced 3 times now, I think this here would be the remains of the way up to it. Obviously it collapsed at some point, but you can see some posts there that probably would have been for floorboards going up. And the facade is slightly different there, so I'd imagine at one point there was a little outer wall coming out here on the side to lead up to that little fortification. Who they built the chemin de ronde to defend against, I don't know. Maybe the O'Lorcans were seeking revenge against the Shorthalls for taking the land, but there you have it. That's Ballylarkin Church. It's about a 27-minute drive from Kilkenny if you're going slowly, 22 if you're on a fast motorbike. Also, if you're coming here, watch where you step, because there is evidence of cattle having been in the field fairly recently. You don't want to get that on your bike's pedals. Daisy's calling us. Let's get a move on. Now, Clomantagh Castle, it's like a 10-minute drive up the road this way. And it was owned by the Earls of Ormond in the 14th century. And their names come up a lot in Ireland's history around these parts of the country. I think we talked about them before. There is some nice quiet roads here though that are a pleasure to drive on a bullet or little motorbike. Might be a bit grey and wet, but the views are still pretty nice. I think we can agree. Whoop. Goes to show the old double check. So there's a B&B there, so that means it's just around here somewheres. Okay, just on the right there we have Clomantagh Church and Clomantagh Castle. Now, Clomantagh Castle is private property, but you can go and stay there and you can tell me what it was like, because the Irish Land Trust rents it out on Airbnb, I think, or some B&B website, so you can actually stay in the castle. I was kind of hoping the gates might be open, that we might be able to cheekily drive up to it, but alas, alack, we can't. Yeah, if that was drier, we'd do that full turn. You're mucky enough as it is. This is Clomantagh church, which is, you know, attached to the castle. So let's go in and have a look. Bit of a graveyard, bit of a you know, let's go. And quite a nice view on all of Kilkenny there too. Well, all this side of that mountain. Now the main entrance to Clomantagh Church is right there, and you probably could park there. Bit mucky though, so I chose to park with Daisy way down there, a whole 50 meters away. Bit of a trek, but you know, worth it to keep the mud off, I say. Let's go in. You're in Clanmana Church. Now, let's have a look at the castle first. Now, as I said, the castle is on private property, so unfortunately I won't be able to go in today. But as I said to you, you can rent it out, so if you want to go in and have a look at what's going on in there, be my guest, or be the Irish Land Trust's guest. It's probably worth a stay. How often can you say you stayed in a tower house? So, like most ruins which are ruined, not much remains here of Clomantagh, with a T, I kept mispronouncing it, church. But there are a few features, such as the double belfry up there, which is still there. There would have been 2 bells in there, free to ring. And the south, it's beside a busy road, a very busy road. And the south, no, north is that way. So the east facing windows too, which have a pretty nice, what would you call that, rendering on the rock. The bits that remain anyways. And also, Holy Mary is there looking out at us. Hi Mary. Hello. So this is our way in, and it's to note that the ground floor here is a bit of a ways down compared to the level here out in the graveyard. This church would have been built in around the 1200s, and it would have been much like Ballylarkin Church, the parish church of this area. Not much to see inside, plenty of noise from outside, but we can see lots of post holes in the wall. Maybe those were different floors or little cloisters or things, not cloisters, what do you call them? Pulpits and so on. I don't know. Would have been quite a sight back in its day. You'd wonder when those bells last rang. Also of note here at Clomantagh Church, I've just discovered, is this World War I grave, which aren't very common in Ireland. There is a memorial in Kilkenny dedicated to any of the boys from Kilkenny that went over to fight and passed away or survived. But here we have the grave of one Michael K. Holmes, and it wasn't very popular at the time for Irish people to go enlist to fight against the Hun, as they called them back then. Not because Ireland was pro-Central Powers necessarily, but more it was seen as bad form to fight with the British while everything 1916 was going on here. But we won't get into that now. While we're here, we might as well discuss Clomantagh Castle there. It was built in the 1430s on lands owned by the Earls of Ormond. When one of them died, it was passed down to the son Pierce Butler, I think, and the Butler family held on to it until the Cromwellian invasion. I'm getting all tongue-tied today, it's very windy. It remained in the hands of the Butlers until the Cromwellian conquest of Ireland. Later on, you can see there's a farmhouse that's been added. That was in the 19th century. Then, in the late 20th century, the house underwent renovations and is now in the hands of the Irish Landmark Trust, who rent it out as a holiday property. It's a pretty unique place to stay. If I didn't already live so close to it, I'd consider staying there. But as I'm like 20 minutes down the road, you know. But you should stay there. Go on, why not? Our last spot in Kilkenny is St. Scoheen's well, and well, there isn't much knowledge about it. It isn't well documented, and I don't know who St. Scoheen might well be, but we'll go have a look. Irish holy wells, sometimes they're a sight to see. We went to St. Patrick's well before. He's a more obvious saint than whoever St. Scoheen was, if that even is a saint. Getting some looks there, Daisy. Hopefully for good reasons. I had to pass through Kilkenny for some reason. Had a Garda check the taxes. Never had that happen before. But of course she's taxed. I don't be breaking the law. But we're out in Johnsville now. Getting close to St. Scola as well. Scoheen? I forget. Go wrong. Now I must say I don't think I've actually been out here before. Turn right. Seem to be following this van quite a bit. Turn right and then left. Yeah. Oh, lovely. Into a wee little mountain. We love it. The ups, the downs, the all in betweens. I got a very funny comment recently about avoiding the verge on the middle of the road. It gave me a good laugh, so I will avoid the verge if it stops you from puckering. Oh wow, this is fabulous. I've never been here in Kilkenny. Nice wide open road. Alright, we're just about here. 600 meters, our destination will be on the left. And we'll wrap up at the well. Ooh, I'd say this is it somehow. Yeah. Wow. Wasn't sure what I was expecting, but this is really nice. Now that's someone's property, so we're Daisy Bell, we're motorbike, we're cheeky and we park in front of things like this sometimes. Who minds? You? Nah, you don't. Yeah. Now can we get in? Looks like it. Let's go in. This is St. Scoheen's well. No idea of when it was made or anything like that, but we can presume 1200s to 1500s, I'd say. Maybe there'll be some documentation. So that's where I parked the bike, and possibly that might be the titular St. Scoheen's well. I'm not sure. It looks well like one to me. Well puns. Here on the side of the road. Let's go into the church though and see if there's if we find something else in there. Oh God. Well, you can go in, but there's not much to see here, is there? Lots of overgrown goodness. Probably a lot of creatures living down there too. Now those aren't the ghosts of St. Scoheen followers past, those are some cows across the way. I presume that would have been the entrance to the upper floor to get to the... Either it was a belfry or it was a lookout tower. Whatever this was. The round window has me confused though, because that doesn't seem like very medieval Ireland. To my eye, the round window there doesn't really strike me as old Ireland. It strikes me more of like old England. Maybe some old English monastery. So maybe this was a Church of Ireland? I don't know. Ironically, Church of Ireland means a Protestant church, but of the Irish denomination. No sign of the well yet, unless we've already seen it. Looks to be round windows on all sides, but you've also got the classic Gothic arch here, filled in with brick. Although it looks like there's a wall right behind it, so there's like a little space there. Wonder what that was. Now this looks like to be the other entrance into the church, but much like the inside of the church, it's a bit overgrown on the way in. So I don't think we'll be stepping in there today somehow. The land here is incredibly uneven. As you can see, this grave is sunk into the growth, and these ones have freshly mown grass beside it, so someone's taken care of here. Really quite an impressive sight, to be honest, but very little documentation here. Usually you'd have little signposts from the OPW saying this was this church, it was owned by these people, and give you a bit of a brief history on it, but nothing to be seen about that here. Whether this is St. Scoheen's Church or not, I don't know. That's what it's listed as on Google Maps, but there's not much else information about it, which is a shame because it's a nice site and someone's clearly looking after the grounds here. Maybe it's such a nice site because no one really knows about this spot. The graves here are as early as the 1700s and as recent as 2015 from what I've seen. But there's relatively few here. It's very unusual. Usually these kind of sites will be packed with graves, unless there were a lot of other gravestones that have since gone missing. An interesting message here, and a way I've never heard it put about Christianity. The Jubilee year, the 1950th anniversary of our redemption, obviously erected in 1983, so 0033 AD. You know the story. But it's just a funny way of putting it. I've never seen it done like that. Traditionally in Ireland, holy wells like St. Scoheen's down there would have been a place of pilgrimage, as it was believed the healing waters would heal you with the waters, whether drinking or bathing in them. St. Patrick's Well in the other video is a better example of this. Whether St. Scoheen's Well was one of these sites, I don't know, as it seems to be just a little inlet as opposed to kind of more proper deep well. I wouldn't really know what the official categorization for wells is, but I thought take a good look today would be nice. Now, whether St. Scoheen is a real person or not, I don't know that either. Maybe someone just decided to have a bit of fun on Google Maps, but you tell me, maybe you're more familiar with this history somehow. But in any case, this video is more of an experiment than anything to see. Could I get up in the morning, plot out 3 points, learn a bit of history on them if I can, and then just get out, film it, slap it up on YouTube. If you like this video, let me know, because I'd like to do more videos like this, because they're quick, easy, fun to shoot, and we all learn a bit of something. Anyways, in the meantime, thanks for watching. I'll be back very soon, hopefully, with some good videos like this one, if people enjoyed this one. I'll talk to you after. Bye!